Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the CRN broadcast of the Core Camping World Truck Series. Tonight we are at Iowa, but before we get into a little bit of that, I'll go ahead and let my co-host introduce himself. And Kevin, do you have a copy?
Yes, I do. I'm loud and clear here well, not in Iowa, but in virtual Iowa. And always the trucks love to come to Iowa. It's a good track to provide some good racing. And also, want to say before we get started, congrats on your Vintage Series Championship last week at Dega. Great drive there. You were the Season 5 champion, so well done to you. But yeah, Iowa, great track, and it's going to be fun to watch. And kind of looking at the playoff cut line, we'll probably talk about it as the broadcast goes along. But with only 4 rounds left, and 10th to 16th in the point standings, all separated by less than, I think, 18 points. Still all to play for here. And remember in core, it's not win and you're in. You win, you're still not technically in until the playoffs happen. Then Oak Clinch will get you to the next round. So you got to fight for every point you can get, and you can't have a bad round here, or else you may be on the outside looking in when the playoffs start in a couple weeks at Dover.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially with, you do have dirt next week, so that's going to bring out the dirt guys that are in this league. But you also have a couple of mile-and-a-half tracks. No more road courses, so no,
No, no,
no.
no, no. Roval's the last round for the cut
Oh
lines.
yeah,
It's
see.
it's Iowa, which is less than a mile, then Eldora, which is dirt, then New Hampshire, even a shorter track, and then the Charlotte Roval. So yeah, no more long 2 mile super speedways until we get the Pocono in the last round, the first round cut line of the playoffs. So you better be good at short tracks and road courses and dirt, or else you may be in for a bit of a hurt here.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I know as well as you know, a road course or dirt or even a short track could hurt your season. As you know, you did mention I did win the championship in the Vintage Series. I did get a little cocky there in the beginning of the season, winning the very first race of the season at Charlotte. And then we started dabbling into the season, but we got to Sonoma, and my season kind of flipped a whole 180 degrees, finished really bad. Ended up having the Pizzagate, as Carl and Jimmy called it. I got caught using an H shifter,
Ooh.
driving, and eating pizza all at the same time, driving an 87 car around the newer Sonoma track. So, yes,
I don't even
I.
know how you do that. That just sounds overly complex.
Oh, yeah, it was actually pretty hard to do, but I mean, I got it done, so I'm not really
Yeah, it's,
too.
it's a story to tell the kids.
Exactly, yeah, it was actually pretty fun. Ended up getting it done, but and then Dirt had a very bad showing at Dirt, and then
hmm
Kansas had a bad showing out there, but stuck it out and was thankfully being able to win the championship, my first ever in iRacing as a whole and in core. But
hmm
before we start dabbling into some other stuff, we do have an in-race reporter tonight. That'll be the number 01 of Brendan Polt. He is a newer guy that came from the Cup
Hopefully.
Series, and now he's made his way to the Truck Series. And Brendan Polt, this is Dylan and Kevin in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. Well, so far you are 23 minutes into practice. Can you give us a little bit of a rundown how your tires have fared throughout this whole 23 minutes of practice, and what is your guys' field run looking like for tonight?
Well, the tires, they look like they can last a decent amount of laps here. It depends on how aggressive you run the truck. They could probably, I've yet to really look in depth, but they could probably run about maybe 20 laps on an optimal window before they start running out of grip. Fuel window looks like it's gonna be like 47 laps, so it depends on that too, how that works out. But we could be seeing lap 50, the first pit stops coming in, depending on how all that rolls out. So,
Considering it's only it's a 115 lap race, that would be shaking up for about a two stopper.
yeah. I mean, we have unlimited tires, right?
Yes,
Yep.
sir.
Yes, tires
So,
and fuel are free, unlike in the real world.
yeah. So it really depends on how aggressive these people run their cars. Randall, obviously at the top, looking pretty good, but I don't know how hard he's running his tires. So he could be on a qualifying setup for all I know, or steering ratio. But yep, we should expect about 50 laps. So yeah, a two stopper, or if cautions could play into that too.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that
I mean,
with USA, you weren't there for USA, Brendan, but I believe you actually did it in the next gen cars. But USA in the trucks were actually a pretty bit of a handful. So this is the second short track on the season. You know, you had a strong showing last week at Daytona. You were up at the front. You led a couple laps. Now is it all about survival and just trying to stay out of the way of the people that are up during the top of the points, or are you going to run as hard as you possibly can to try to get your first win?
I'm gonna be running. Since I've joined like 3 races down, I'm already down like 100 points, so not like the championship is anything in there. So I'm gonna be running this truck as hard as I can. Daytona is Daytona, so it's kind of lucky at the start. But yeah, we'll see how Iowa goes here. Whether I wreck out 20 laps in or finish the race with top 10.
All right, buddy. Well, I'll go ahead and throw you back down with Mr. Ricky Gonzalez and them and company, and hopefully we'll be talking to you at the end of this thing.
All right, thank you.
All right, that was our in-race reporter of the number 01 of Brendan Polt. But now it's
Rough, great
time to
insight.
bring in our yeah, it was a nice little insight for us. Now we're going to bring in our resident pastor, Mr. Zach Woods. Do you have a copy?
Hey, how are you doing?
Oh, doing all right. Seeing about if you could give us tonight's invocation before you set down a pretty quick clap here.
We'll see about that, but I know I can do the prayer part, so let's pray.
All right.
Oh my God, I thank you that you've given us iRacing, such a great technology to reach different people from different walks of life and to bring them together over the shared passions of racing. I pray that you might move through our time together, that you might bless our conversations together as they are fruitful and beneficial in your sight, and be with us tonight as we try to put on a good show for everybody watching. We pray all this in Christ's name. Amen.
Men.
Amen. Thank you for that, Zach. And before we get you on out of here, I would like to say thank you for doing that week in and week out, and hopefully we get to talk to you at the end of this thing.
Yep, hopefully, and I'll put that down in my schedule, Dylan.
All righty. Well, we'll go ahead and move him back there where he was at with the Rays team down in the locked channel for other people that cannot get in there. But so far, Cody McCauley set quick time with a 23.3. So
He's currently the fastest. Just want to come in and kind of chime in here. But yeah, currently the fastest here at the very least. We got a couple of drivers currently on runs. I think the second lap for Cody McCauley's Carl Thompson just a lap down. So actually, I think McCauley is actually in the pit. So never mind, no second lap he will not take. There's Brad Boole going P3 on his first lap. Matt Crockett P9 on his first lap. We got Randall Robinson about to start his first lap. Only two-time winner in the Ford Truck Series so far. We'll see if he can make a run here to get the Cody McCauley. And honestly, as we Waldo actually just does his first lap, there goes P4. But honestly, I do want to say this while we have a second. I think Cody McCauley's been a bit snake bitten so far. He won the first race of the season, and he's been relatively competitive up in the front. But Homes to Miami, a good example where was having a great race, just couldn't kind of get out of his own way and then sped in the pit lane. And then Daytona, he was about to win and then got an incident point limit and ended up getting disqualified. So McCauley still looking good to make the playoffs at the very least. And now Randall Robinson gets P3, but he needs to kind of get that form back before playoff time happens, or else he may be on the outside looking in and be a case of a what if, because it's good to run up front most of the time, but if you can't finish, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter in the end. They don't give up points for finishing leading 99% of the laps. It's only the last lap that truly matters.
yeah, kind of like the Chase Elliott effect there when he needed a win at Martinsville and throughout the whole playoff section of the playoffs in the, I believe it was the round of 12, he wrecked pretty much every single race, and that's something that you don't really want to have happen, especially with the playoffs coming up.
And it being a win-in situation. Yeah, it's only
exactly,
2
yeah.
rounds. When, like we use the example, win it over, you're on to the second round of the cutoff line, and you do not have to worry about Pocono. So, it's kind of risk-reward.
Yeah, I mean, with me, I ran the Ghost Cup Series last season, and yeah, I pulled off 2 wins back to back, Las Vegas and Pocono, and then after that, my season just kind of dwindled down. I couldn't get back up to the front, and I tried being more patient, but there at the end, towards the playoffs, I was good because it was winning you're in. Ended up getting a couple more wins in the playoffs, which put me ultimately into the Final Four, and then playoff or Homestead came around, and I finished third out of fourth or finished third out of the 4 championship drivers. So still, all in all, was a great season for that. But it's all about consistency. Consistency
Yep.
will be key as we look at Mark Gonzalez. He's going to take a couple laps here, gets a little bit loose. That's going to be another thing you want to watch out for is getting into the corner. You could get the back end could get a little bit light on you, and it could send you for a ride. Same with coming out of the corners as well. That could play a bit of a factor, as I did run a little bit of Iowa in the ARCA car when it came up with an official series, and it was a little bit loose. So that's
Yeah.
something that you really got to watch out for.
That's why personally, I kind of like running the Indy cars because it just feels a lot more stable and grippy. And no offense to the trucks, I love running them when I can, but it's just personally, I love those little spaceships because like they'll grip for you. You don't have to worry about the thing just getting a little, trying to carry a tank around a corner. As that is the end of qualifying here right now. Cody McCauley ends up taking pole position. Nothing else really to report for those last 2 minutes. It's McCauley on pole and John Cornell in second. And I guess we'll pull up the graphic here to see what the rest of the order is looking like.
Gotta reload it real quick. Just give me one quick second here.
While we do that, I'll quickly shout out the other series that's currently racing on Core at this time right now, the NORA Grand National Series. They're currently in Atlanta right now. Make sure after watching this one, you go tune in as well and subscribe to the Core Racing Network as well. Always giving us a like and a follow. That's quite helpful as well. So keep on trucking, like as they would say. But hopefully the new series on the channel as well can provide some great help out for Core. So as you really reload the graphics, there we go. So Cody McCauley takes pole position away from John Cornell, so he'll take P1. Cornell will be in second. Randall Robinson will be in third. Brad Boone will be in fourth. Carl Thompson will be in fifth. Wes Fuller will be in sixth. Ricky Gonzalez will be seventh. Mark Gonzalez will be eighth. Jim Ott, ninth. Thaddeus Marshall, 10th. Zachary Woods, 11th. Eric Andrews, 12th. Wade Patterson, 13th. Jason Harrison, 14th. Matt Crockett, 15th. Josh Holmes, last week's winner, in 16th. David Moodspaw in 17th. Mark Thomas in 18th. Brendan Polt in 19th. Ryan J. Munoz in 20th. And the last two drivers, actually Munoz, Jimmy Ainsley, and Matt W. George, all do not set times. Actually, I think Molza actually did, but they didn't update. But Munoz is 20th. Ainsley and George, 21st, 22nd. No time set for those two.
Well, we do have a couple of new guys out here on track with us with Ryan Munoz. This will be his debut start for the Core Truck Series. And he did run Bristol with us in the Vintage, so he does know his way around the short track. So maybe we can see exactly what he can do here for the Core Trucks as they get ready to pull off a pit road. Everybody is gridded up. They're going to take it out so far and get out and see what we can do for 115 laps.
Yep. It's going to be a two-stop race like we said in the pre-race. I think it's going to be a good one lap around here, so it's going to be a quick pace lap here, so I don't think we'll have much time to shout out some of the schemes, but if you do see a scheme you like in there, shout it out in the chats and let us know what you like.
Had to go back in there and mute the driver chat. I was getting a little bit of driver chat while talking to you, so had to make sure I had that muted so that way you guys couldn't hear that up on the broadcast. But yeah, if you guys do see a scheme that you guys do like, go ahead and shout it out. We'll go and look at it. But so far, there is one scheme that I have been paying attention to that I personally do like. That'll be Wes Fuller's scheme that he made for his dogs. And it's got Chewy.com on there. He's got his dogs on there, Lily and Harley. Lily having a little bit of health issues here, so keep Wes in your thoughts, especially with his dogs. He does love his dogs. So that's just always something that you don't really ever want to see happen, especially a man's best friend. You know, it's very, very terrible to have that happen. But so far,
personally, well, I was going to say, personally, I want to quickly shout one myself here as well. The number 30 machine. I kind of like that Joker scheme as well. It looks pretty nice. Personally, in my opinion, Randall Robinson, only thing I'd probably say is not the biggest fan of that Joker. I think it's another Joker I personally like character-wise, but that Joker from the Batman series, pretty nice as well.
I think you're
Joker graphics always make some good schemes.
I think I know which Joker you're talking about. You're talking about the Heath Ledger Joker?
Oh, no, I was thinking of the whole series entirely, but we'll talk about it after broadcast here, as I think it's ready to go here. As I think the pace car comes off, and it is green, green, green time as we are away for 115 laps here in the Cork Racing League. As 1-2 are currently kind of fighting as a little bit RG Bar into back. Outside line did not really go, and the 81 machine not going to get any help in the corner of one, but it will probably slot in line in second position as we follow the 7 machine here as he's currently side by side in the back. They're all pretty much fighting here, almost 3 wide with the 74 machine there. to kind of hold station 2-2-2, but Cody McCauley gets away, and that's what the doctor orders. He will lead the first lap of this race.
Yeah, right there, right off the start, I actually noticed the number 87 of Thaddeus Marshall get a little bit 3 wide. Didn't want to run in the back of some people, so smart move by him taking it 3 wide, but you definitely don't want to advance your position before the start-finish line. So good call for him not hitting anybody and getting out of the way, but that kind of set him up to drop a couple positions because he couldn't make any moves. But there goes
single
Wes
car spin.
Fuller
Yep.
spinning down the track, and that's something that you don't want to do. We'll go ahead and take a look
Oh.
back here and see exactly what happened.
I think something else happened in the 117 and 35 as well, so we'll have to take a look at both instances
Wes
here.
got a
Both slow
little
as well.
bit. Yep, Wes just got loose coming off of turn number 4, and that's what we talked about earlier. Getting loose coming off the corner, and you said, who else was it?
But no, it was that incident question you were referencing.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
That was the incident
Gotcha,
question.
gotcha.
Don't worry.
Alrighty. Yeah, it's just like what we said in the pre-race show, guys. You definitely got to watch your angle coming off the corner, as you just seen there. Wes Fuller took a little bit of a ride down into the corner. But so far, it looks like Jason Harrison's trying to get underneath Thaddeus Marshall here. Thad still rolling that outside lane, not letting him get any moves on him.
Ricky Gonzalez under pressure here from Eric Andrews. Eric Andrews going to try to take a clear here and going to shove the 7 up the track. A little bit naughty there. Clean, but it's only lap 4. 5, actually, so could have probably left him a little bit of space there as Ricky's going to fall on back here. He's going to lose 2, 3, 4 spots, maybe into the 5th one, the Zachary Woods. So definitely going to be a little bit of a situation where when push comes to shove down the race, I don't think the 7's going to be as nice as the 9 and may kind of run him off the road just as well. Got to respect the drivers out here. So almost 4 wide in the back there behind Ricky Gonzalez. That does not usually end well here as Mark Thomas and Holmes are the main fighters here. As we'll see how it plays out back there. Matt Crockett and Zach Woods also fighting as well back there. 2 abreast.
And as we see there, Mark Thomas has a new truck. He's not driving that green machine anymore. He's got himself a nice little Toyota Tundra and that number 50 machine, but they did file it out back down to 2 wide. And now Zach Woods is on the inside of the number 50 machine, trying to make that stick, but not going to be able to. And he's going to lose another position to last week's winner, Joshua Holmes.
Yeah, Joshua Holmes here got that win. It got him some good breathing room on the playoff cut line, and he's going to have to kind of keep that form up right now. 15th is not what you want to see, especially when one of your main rivals, which is Mark Gonzalez, who is just below the cut line, is currently in P6 right now, so definitely a lot of bubble watch here at the very least, but it's only lap 6, so a lot to face here as Thomas and Holmes are still fighting there. So it looks like Thomas is going to get the better of Josh Holmes, as we'll see as they keep fighting, but not missing anything up front. Cody McCauley has a big gap right now on John Quinnell, about 0.3 seconds, and they're pretty much 4 tenths away from each other, all the way down to Eric Andrews, and that's when it gets spicy with Thaddeus Marshall still high in the back of Eric Andrews. We're watching right on board here as 87 is going to try to take the inside, going to try to set up for 3 and 4, but just going to tuck back in line, but keeping the 9 honest.
Yeah, 9's actually playing a good defensive line, keeping that high side away from Thad. You know, with this track, the high side is where you want to be, especially with the trucks or the Xfinity or any kind of car you drive other than the Indy cars, because me personally, I do not like the way that they drive. I don't like open wheel cars like that. So, but as we look here, it looked like Thad got a good run off of turn number 2 on the number 9, but still not able to get around him because Eric's playing that high defensive line. So this may be a dive bomb central if he does get a good run and get to the inside of the number 9.
Yeah, just kind of riding station. And I think the 87 got a little squirrely because I think he was trying to stay behind. The back end got a little stepped out there, and that is now the 74 on the inside here to kind of play honest. And right now they're fighting hard, but in turn, kind of riding right now. Fighting right now is allowing the main drivers behind, like Jim Ott, Mark Gonzalez, and Brad Boole, to drive away, as the gap was 1.2 a second ago. Now it's 1.5. I think Wade Patterson's making a move on Ricky Gonzalez, maybe the other way around. Gonzalez on the inside line. Can he complete the pass? No, he cannot. Outside prevails, and it looks like, at least so far right now with the tires, maybe as they fall in, it may change a bit, because inside usually prevails as tire wear goes on. But it's a situation where, at the very least, you got to try to clear your opponent, go deep into the brakes to make a move, and then kind of slide job outside the corner, or else the outside line is going to tow you down, as it just looks like as long as you keep your foot in it, the outside line is where you want to be, just to kind of ride, as that's where you want to finish your pass, I should say.
Yeah, I was just looking there. Jason Harrison was side by side with number 87 of Thaddeus Marshall. But with that outside having the big run, it looks like Eric got a little bit tight coming out of the corner as well. So that moves Thaddeus Marshall up one more spot. But now what does Wade do? Wade gets in the back of Eric
that's a spinning.
Andrews. That should be a caution. And that is
flag.
not what you want to see. I am not a admin, so I can't throw it myself.
Can't throw it as well. They're
Oh,
calling for one
no.
possibly, but no call has been thrown yet.
I don't know if race control is in there tonight or not, but that is something that you don't really want to see. We'll go ahead and take a look back at that wreck.
Yep.
As we seen, it was the number 151 of Wade Patterson just dived it in there, hitting Eric in the back, and the 50 of Mark Thomas just had nowhere to go, and he got collected in that. Nothing that Eric could do but to tow and try to get off the track. And look at that. Matt George came barreling in there. Did not know that they were sitting on the track, and that's another truck that ended up getting taken out. Still no caution as of now. They're still green. Not sure what is going on here with these
there's
cautions.
no one to call it. We got no one to call it here. I think there may be a race control, but either he's asleep at the wheel. If there isn't one, there's nothing we can do because I can't call it, you can't call it, and I don't think anyone has admin privileges at the very least. So, bit of an oversight issue here is, if that's the case, we're not going to have any cautions this race. So if an accident does occur, it's just going to be a situation where it's going to be like one of those ARCA official races where you ride it until the end, and if a mistake happens, it happens. So no real alternate strategy. So you're going to have to kind of make your stuff work, no errors on pit lane, and just kind of hold station if you want to end up finishing this race strong. While we were watching that spin there, Mark Gonzalez did get around Jim Ott. So Mark Gonzalez up 6, Jim Ott down to 7th. It looks like Gonzalez is smooth sailing away from Jim Ott. But yeah, looks like they're kind of getting that accident did string out the field a little bit there. It's kind of put in group, and kind of the closest battle we have is Randall Robinson slowly reeling in John Cornell. So definitely something to keep an eye on right now.
Yeah, Randall Robertson is eyeing up the number 81. He got a little bit of a good run coming off the corner there. Now he's going to see what he can do exactly here, and he's just going to ride behind the number 81, and he's just going to play his time, let Cody McCauley get out to a little bit of a lead, let him burn up his tires, and see what these next 3 guys can do.
Just kind of playing the waiting game here, kind of playing it out, letting it kind of situation and kind of hold it. As we now hit lap 20, at least according to our in-race promoter, Brendan Polt, this is when the tires usually start to hit the fall-off point. So if you're not save your runner in the early stint from here to the fuel window, you're definitely going to be struggling. As I think something's happened to Munoz as he's fallen down the order. I think maybe he's pitted, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe that was just a glitch in the system.
Go ahead and jump back here with Ryan Munoz. Looks like Jimmy
he's still
Inslee.
on track.
Yeah, he's still on
So-
track. He's battling with the number 53 of Jimmy Inslee, another newcomer. So these guys battling it out here. Jimmy's getting the better of the inside line that you were talking about, but Ryan Munoz fighting back on the outside.
Keeping it. Mark Gonzalez is slowly keeping Brad Boaz honest as Ricky Gonzalez and Jason Harrison. They're fighting as kind of a big through-wide battle for 8th, 9th, and 10th. As they're pretty far away from Jim Ott, but they're all kind of fighting for their own positions. Each position matters. Harrison and Gonzalez really fighting hard.
As I just got word that our race control did not have power at his house, so we have no race control here tonight.
Oh.
That is not very good.
Good.
But the show must go on. I knew Eric was an admin at one point, but
I guess he didn't have the power.
He took the power away from himself because at the Martinsville race for the Vintage Cup Series, instead of hitting clear penalties, he hit disqualify.
Oh, that's not
So
good.
he
Big
made
battle though for 5th. Sorry to kind of cut off that point, but yeah, you hate to see it. Mistakes happen. But yeah, we do got a big battle here for 5th right now between Brad Bull and Mark Gonzalez as they're fighting pretty hard for positioners. It looks like the 88 machine going to try to clear the 27, and he's just going to have to ride side by side. Outside line prevails, and now going into 1, it's just Brad is just trying to keep the outside lurking while the 88 is just trying to go as deep as he can and try to either pinch or clear the 27 and slide job. But now it looks like the 27 holding station, and if Gonzalez cannot kind of keep it honest, it looks like even Jim Ott is thinking about throwing the line here, going in the way bottom, as it looks like Brad's running the way high side, Mark Gonzalez is running the middle, and Jim Ott kind of wants to take the very low side, which is not recommended, but trying it as he can. As the 88 going now super low, running where he's not. 27, I think, almost clipped the wall there, and that's going to allow the 88 to clear him. So that's how it's kind of done here, as the 88's going to make the pass successfully, put the 27 one spot down, and now the 04 Jim Ott's going to try to do what the 88 just did, and now the 88 can be a bit of a pick, but it's also going to be a bit of a pain for Jim Ott, as he'll have nowhere to slide up because 88's running that high side. And
Yeah,
now the 04 will slot back.
the 04 of Jim Ott actually dropped back in line, but now he's going to have a good run coming off the corner. He's going to be side by side going down the backstretch here. And now he's going to dive it into turn 3 and 4, get a good lunge into the corner. But now you have, it looks like the number 66 of Carl Thompson, he's going to be a factor as the 04 cannot get clear of the number 27 of Brad Boubel.
Brad just hanging a tough there on the outside line. The only reason why the 88 got around him was because slight mistake. So as long as he holds that line strong, he should be able to keep going. But yeah, Carl Thompson's falling in the hands of Mark Gonzalez here, and Randall Robbins is slowly reeling in John Quinnell. So I think it's a situation where tire saving is key. And I don't think Carl Thomas saved his rubber that well, as he's now getting hunted down by this pack here. So you can kind of see it on the timing and scoring screens of drivers. If you saved your stuff correctly and you made it work, you're a very close gap. If you're falling down the order and losing a second after a second, then you probably didn't save your rubbers. Ooh, the 04 almost door slammed the 27 there. Brad now going to officially make the clear, and all that scrapping has allowed Mark Gonzalez to get 0.7 clears. So just showing that a little bit of a fight can easily cause a gap to grow. And now Mark Gonzalez is in a different postcard fighting Carl Thomas.
Yeah, that's going to be another battle to watch out for. But as we look now, Mark Gonzalez has caught up to the number 66 of Carl Thompson. He's going to dive it to the inside. Wonder if Carl Thompson's just going to let him go here. And
No.
Mark
Try to clear
not.
himself.
I thought maybe Mark would have been clear, but he was not able to get clear of the number 66. But going down the backstretch, he's got the toe. Can he clear himself coming into
No.
3 and 4?
Can't.
I
Can
think
it?
this is
I think it's going to happen here, though.
Yeah, it's definitely going to happen here. He's going to slide up, do a little bit of a slide job, stay off the wall, keep it straight, and he does so. So move Mark Gonzalez up to P number 4. Now he's got to play that defensive line to keep Carl Thompson right behind him as he goes right back down to the inside.
I think Carl Thompson's really ailing a kind of wounded car here on the tires. Not by damage, but those tires are definitely ailing. And I don't think he's going to be able to keep too long on the back of this battle, as the gap is slowly growing here. Oh, big wiggle there by Mark Gonzalez. So maybe don't write that check neck. Further back, though, we see Ott and Bubble still fighting. So we'll see what happens there, as I think Brad Boole is going to try to keep the out. Now it's actually reversed, as the 04 is on the outside and the 21's on the inside. And it kind of in shades of differences, it should favor Jim Ott this time instead of the number 21 Twitter machine.
Yeah, Jim Ott still doing whatever he possibly can to get around the number 27, but he's not letting him go, as these guys are battling pretty close and pretty clean, not hitting each other. But it does look like the 04's got a little bit of damage on their right side, probably from wall tapping just a little bit. So, I mean, you are at a short track. Aero's not going to be a big disadvantage to you like if you were at a bigger track like Texas, Atlanta, and or even a plate track. But it looks like the 04 is now back down to the inside, and now Brad Boubel is back to the outside. So this is going to be where you make your money if you can get around on both sides of the track, because if you didn't practice how your truck handled on the high side and you've been running the inside, now you're stuck on the outside, you don't know what your truck's going to do. So
Yeah, that's something.
always got to
Oh,
make
I
sure
was-
you do it.
That's something I can relate to with IndyCar practice as well. And for the leagues I'm in, it's a situation where if you don't practice that high line or middle line in the oval and someone takes your line, you have to try a different line to make it work. And if you can't keep the speed, that's how they know they can beat you. Like, all right, I know you like running that high side, so I'm going to make sure I stay on the high side, go low if you want to pass me. And it's kind of mind game. So it's one of the two major things I think when they practice, sometimes they don't think about is where your truck runs and how you can be fast in all the lines. And at the same time, how long you take a long run here and how the tires hit the end of their cliffs and how to kind of just practice when the tires are near the end of their lives. So it's two major things I think drivers kind of forget to practice around ovals, and it can be the main kryptonite of some, and it can be the main benefactor of others, as it looks like Brad trying to make it work, and they're still side by side fighting hard here. Do love to see it. This is good, clean racing between two drivers that kind of respect each other for sixth position.
Yeah, as I was looking at that, I actually looked or got up to the 81 of John Ouellette. He was battling through lap traffic, almost got taken out by the number 75 of Jimmy, or not Jimmy Inslee, the 75 of Ryan Munoz. But look at that, the
Oh,
81
first pit
is in, almost spun it out. The 66 almost spun it out as well, but good clean entry into pit road. So there's about where we were going to see pit stops, as they're 40 laps out of 115.
Well, he was estimating around 47, so that's a bit early, only on lap 38 here. So looking to try to make the undercut work. As we saw previous tracks like Homestead, undercut was pretty strong. But I think as everyone follows the leader in right now, we're going to see multiple drivers take a pit, go in the 151. We got Mark Gonzalez coming in Mark Gonzalez coming in along with Brad Boole as well. Jim Ott will stay out and lead a lap, so he'll get in a couple extra points to his total. Harrison Gonzalez staying out. I think Matt Crockett is also staying as well. So bit of a mixed bag. Some drivers coming in early here, about 10 laps, while other drivers trying to stay out and may make it a bit longer to lead a lap, or maybe just get some good points here. Only downside is no chance of a caution happening this race unless Racecode gets back
Jim
in.
Ott just missed pit road. So now he's got to go all the way back around and try to keep that 162 of Cody McCauley. But Cody McCauley is catching him, obviously, because he does have fresh tires. But look for the 04 to go in this time, as he missed pit road that last go around. So a big shake up for the 04. He's going to get it woe down here a little bit earlier, get down below the yellow line, and get into pit road. So that's going to do that first round of pit stops, and looks like Matt Crockett's going into pit road, the 000's going into pit road, and David Motispa will continue to be your race leader here. And he will get credited for leading one lap at Iowa. So we're going to see when exactly he'll go in. And I believe second place will be Cody McCauley when it's all said and done.
Yeah, the lead will re-inherit Cody McCauley when it all plays out and everyone makes their pit stops here. We'll see how that plays out. Remember, Moospaw is currently pretty far back in the points, so it's not really going to get one extra lap point. Is really going to help him here. But you never know. You never know. One extra point can mean the difference between 18th and 19th in the standing. So definitely worth at least trying and keep sponsors happy. So as now he is in the pit lane, it will inherit the lead back to Cody McCauley here. So yep, Cody McCauley will take the lead. Randall Robinson will actually get second, though, so he's able to jump John in the pit stops here. So good stop by the crew there, as he's able to gain at least 2 seconds on entry and exit. Just shows being very aggressive on entry and exit can gain you time on track, as it's helped Randall Robinson unlock second position.
Yeah, but especially with, if you do remember, John Ouellette got a little bit loose going into pit road, got that truck super sideways. So that's going to take a little bit of time away from getting out of pit road quickly. Randall Robinson had the same problem. He got a little bit loose, but not as much as John Ouellette did. But you could just see exactly how much of a difference it does make with getting on a pit road and being smooth.
Oh, Jim Ott has manually disconnected here. He's pulled it behind the wall here. Big what question here, because he was just on the pit stop taking service, and he just disconnect. Oh, I see what happened. He spun coming back into the pit lane again, and yeah, odd. He didn't hit anything, but I guess Toad, tried to avoid it and had a service time and decided just to pull it behind the wall. So that is curtains for Jim Ott. He'll finish P19, and kind of shame because he was having a good battle with Brad there. Brad will be kind of unopposed as he's got a long track ahead of him. But right now, looking at the gaps in the services, we got Ricky Gonzalez in a big fight with Jason Harrison here. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that as we see as Harrison has the lead, but Gonzalez can maybe use that pit car just ahead of him to try to make a move. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, going to jump over to that. Going to see exactly what happened to Wade Patterson, because he's out as well, but I'm not seeing anything that would...
Wasn't Patterson... I don't...
Patterson hit Eric Andrews earlier.
But he pitted on lap 39, so
maybe
he's in this race for a good time and then decided to pull it behind the wall. So, and he even said he was pitting, so...
Not sure exactly.
Oh, I just saw lap 39, he spun in the pit lane, similar to what happened, and hit the barrels.
Oh.
Yep, so if you do want to pull it up, you can, but that's what happened on lap 39. He spun and hit the barrels.
I'm going to see if the SDK found it. see if I can find
Ooh,
Mr.
Brad makes a move on Jim. Brad is right now fighting Carl Thompson here. Big battle here for 4th position, as they're kind of fighting door to door here. As it looks like, again, outside prevails usually here. Carl Thompson, though, not as good as saving his rubber here. We know he's good on the short term. Brad a little bit stronger on the back term here. We'll see how it plays out here. As inside going to prevail, Ken 27 try to clear himself here, trying to cut up the track. He's going to successfully make it. Probably not making much of a front of the 66 machine, as he basically kind of cleared himself there. But 66 is going to say, all right, advantage you, but I'll remember this as the race goes on. So put Brad up to 4th, Carl Thompson down to 5th. You got the lap, actually the 61 machine right behind him. That is a car that is currently at least 1 lap down, I believe.
I did actually just find that replay of Wade Patterson going into pit road. He actually drifted all the way through turn 3 and 4. Barely made contact with the barrels, not enough to tow. But after that, he was out of the race. So chalk that for a top 20 on your resume and come back next week for Eldora. I know he's a dirt guy.
Mm-hmm.
Go
Go ahead. Yeah, finish your point there.
Wade Patterson, Thaddeus Marshall, Cody McCauley, all these top guys that are up front every week, they are all dirt guys. So that's the race that they're going to be looking forward to, as these trucks get a little bit sideways instead of keeping them straight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see how that plays out there. And the only track on the calendar is Eldora next week, so the only chance to see the cars get a little bit dirty here. So see how it does play out. Kind of looking for the field here right now, kind of giving maybe a bit of a race update here. Cody McCauley currently is around lap 53. McCauley currently leads the way. 2.3 clear, Randall Robinson. John Cornell, 0.9 back, P3. Carl Thompson, Brad Bell in 4th, 5.3 behind that. Carl Thompson in 5th. Jason Harrison in 6th, Ricky Gonzalez in 7th, Thaddeus Marshall in 8th, Matt Crockett at 9th, Wes Fuller in 10th, Josh Holmes at 11th, Zachary Woods in 12th, Jimmy Easley in 13th, Brendan Polt in 14th, Ryan J. Munoz in 15th, Mark Gonzalez in 16th, David Mootspot in 17th, and Eric Andrews in 18th, with only 9 cars currently on the lead lap, and I think it may be soon 8, as I think Matt Crockett is getting currently hunted down by Cody McCauley.
Yeah, as I was pointing, or as you were going through the lineup, I was actually on the 162 of Cody McCauley. He just put Wes Fuller a lap down. He was stuck in a lap car sandwich with Eric Andrews in front and Wes Fuller right behind him, and he was able to get around those 2 lapped cars, and now Wes Fuller's keeping up with Cody McCauley, going to see if he can keep the pressure on Cody McCauley to have him burn up his stuff and get that 1 lap back.
Yeah, it's the only way you can really do here. Again, problem is no caution, so you're going to have to try to earn it back on track. So, it is a mixed bag situation, but you never know. Play strategy right. You may be able to kind of get a few spots here. If the race coach does get back in here, maybe, catch a lucky break and get the lucky dog.
As we're looking here on the number 88 of Mark Gonzalez, he got around the number 117 and the number 75. The 75 actually got up into the wall a little bit, but now Mark Gonzalez is 1 lap down in position number 15, but not too far behind him is the number 162 of Cody McCauley. So it is go time to stay 1 lap down and hopefully gain as many positions as you possibly can so you don't go 2 laps down.
Mm-hmm. Just fighting and fighting, because again, every point does matter here at the very least for the own grand scheme of the playoffs here. As like I said, the cut line is very close between a bunch of drivers, and Mark Gonzalez is currently P16, and he's only 4 spots, actually P13. He's only 4 spot points away from Wes Fuller. So Wes Fuller ahead of him right now in the points, in the current race standings, makes it a little bit hard to gain some spots here. But yeah, he can at least maybe get some ground on a few other drivers ahead of him, including Thaddeus Marshall, possibly Joseph Sullivan, among others, if he can play his cards right. So just keep the foot down, keep everything going, and you maybe get a couple points and maybe just get yourself in the playoffs. So don't give up, as they would say. Keep fighting.
Oh, yeah, I'd never want to quit out a race too early, because anything can and does happen the majority of the time, as I've had it happen to me where, I get discouraged, but, you can still salvage a good finishing spot if you just stay in and just run your race. It's happened to me plenty of times. I'm pretty sure, Kevin, it's happened to you. So
yeah,
always got to make sure you stay and finish it out, no matter how bad the damage is or how your race is going.
I can think of one example when we were doing a NASCAR race in another league. We were at Daytona, and I was like, stage break was 10 laps away, and the pack came up to me and started to catch me as I kind of made a slight mistake, and I was like, oh God, please don't put me a lap down, and I'm just running the train, like trying to make sure I hold line. I'm like, don't let them by. So if I go a lap down, I may not get my lap back, and you got to fight and make things work. So yeah, don't give up, and end up finishing kind of well in that race. So sometimes you're in a bad spot early, and you can maybe play it out, make it work late. As we got Jason Harrison and Carl Thompson fighting here pretty hard, as Harrison has cut a big gap with the Carl Thompson. Carl Thompson does have the fast lap this race, but like I've seen so far this race, the main problem he has is he burns his stuff up too quickly. As we're about halfway in the race, and similar to what happened, halfway through the stint, and similar to what happened last time in the stint, around lap 2023, that's when his tires hit the wall, and he fell off a cliff, and he lost so much time. And right now, he's under pressure from Harrison, and if he can't get it going, he'll be under pressure from Rick Gonzalez as well. So we'll see if the 74 machine can, in the Wrangler 74 machine, make a move going into corner one here, towed on back. But I think he's going to bide his time here, hold on back. But actually, he's going to go for the inside now, and now he's going to engage in a war with Carl Thompson for 5th position.
And now they are a little bit side by side. Still Carl with the advantage, actually. He was clear, but look at that 74. Dive it into turn 3 and 4. He's going to get a little bit tight. Going to move the 66 up, but still not able to get around him. Now he's just going to tuck in line, but there's another big battle going on as Thaddeus Marshall is trying to get around our in-race reporter, the number 01, Brendan Polt. He is currently, I believe, one lap
Brendan
down.
Polt is...
Yep.
Yeah, Thaddeus Marshall's on the lead lap, and that's just a car to put him back. So we probably should cut back to Harrison and Thompson as they're fighting hard, as that's just for a lap down in a regular car fighting here. Yep, side by side to the line here. Again, inside can work if you try to clear yourself, or if the outside line makes a mistake. And it looks like the 74 just staying strong here. Gonna possibly clear himself going this corner. He's got the range if he runs it deep in the 3 and 4. It looks like 1 and 2 is your best bet to kind of set yourself up here, and it kind of dictates your run here, as now he's going to make the move. He's got plenty of room to clear himself. Will he do it? He successfully will. Will the 66 answer back, towing into 1, or will he just kind of bide his time here and run on by? Doesn't look as 74 kind of block him off there in the middle lane, and 66 will just have to lick his wounds and win the fight another day.
And with them battling, that allowed Ricky Gonzalez to kind of pull up the rear on them. And now Ricky's thinking, okay, yeah, you guys go ahead, try to get back side by side. And that's going to open up a perfect opportunity for Ricky Gonzalez to get a twofer and possibly move from 7th place up to 5th.
Mm-hmm. Again, not missing anything up front. Cody McCauley's got a 4.8 lead on Randall Robinson, and John is 2.4 back on Randall, and Brad is 3.4 back on John. So top 4 all on their own, a little bit of their different postcodes, just running this race. And I gotta say, it's kind of, you miss the old NASCAR in this sense, where there's no cautions, no stage breaks in certain races, and just run your race and make things work. It's kind of a relic of the old era. You kind of miss it sometimes.
Yeah, and as I just seen there, it looked like the number 66 got a little bit tight coming out of turn 3 and 4. That really allowed Ricky Gonzalez to catch up to the number 66. Ricky's going to dive it in there just a little bit, not too much. Doesn't want to put his tires to an aggressive advantage. Kind of want to keep them nice and calm, as they would say, as looks like Carl Thompson's going to get a little bit of an advantage going into turn 1 and 2, but Ricky's still running that inside, and Carl is all over that top side.
If we go with our Rev Sports said, it's about 47 to 50 laps for when you make your last pit stop, and the race ends on 115, so that would be 105, 95, 85, 75, 65. So we're within the window for final pit stops here. So the question is, and we know the last stint was about 38 laps before it decided to come in, so the question mark is, will a driver maybe take a risk here and maybe pit a bit early and go for that super undercut? Will they all kind of run station here? Because we are in the window, but do you think the tires can make it that long is the question mark of the situation. If you're some drivers, you know the answer's no, but if you're other drivers, maybe the answer's yes.
Yeah, it's all about how you protect those tires. I've taken the time to actually get a good rendition on the tire model, and if you do it correctly, those tires can last you a pretty decent amount of time. It's just, you got to know how to do it. I'm not going to give any secrets away, just in case if these racers are listening. But
how about you hit up my DMs after this race?
I can
as many tips as I can.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially with me running in the ARCS series on Saturday nights, you know, there's a lot of fast guys over there. Got to give Ryan Pennell and those guys a big credit over there, especially you doing your broadcast over there for the ARCS Indy. You know as well as I know, there's a lot of fast guys out there that know what they're doing. But I mean, most of those races do come down to a green-white checkered, or not green-white checkered, but tire and fuel strategy. As it looks like Ricky Gonzalez is back on the inside of the number 66, going to try to make a move. Not able to get there, but going to dive it into 3 and 4. Not going to be able to get clear. He might clear himself here. Gets a little bit tight. Almost gets into the 66. Keeps it clean. Now he's going to try to get back up there and make that move again on the number 66 of Carl Thompson.
While you're watching that battle there, we were telling our little war stories there. Jason Harrison did get around Brad Bull as well. Kind of a simple pass there. Relatively not much of a fight Brad put up there. I think Brad was like, my tires are a little bit more shot. I know you're a little bit faster late in the run. As Jason Harrison, a good example of a driver making his tires work. He's up to P4, but he's also 3.2 down in the last step of the podium. So it's going to be a long road to make it work, especially with no cautions. But if anyone can do it, Jason may be one of those drivers that can. So I'll have to wait and see how it does play out here. As no driver has made the pull-off yet the pit lane, we are getting close to where the last pit stops happened. Remember, 38 was when the pit stops happened. It's actually John to make a move on Randall. Speaking of Randall, he will be the first driver to pit in, so he will be the one that sets the tone for the rest. So we'll see if anyone else decides to elect to come in. But Randall Robinson, first driver in, and this is now the money stop. Don't make a mistake. Do not speed, or else it may be curtains for any chance of a good finish.
Brad Bubel and David Modispa are both into pit road, as well as the 81, the 000, the 74, and the 66 and 7 are still out there, not going to take any advantage for the pitting as of right now, but it looks like Carl Thompson's having a little bit of network issues, not able to see him on track anymore, so I moved over to the number 7 of Ricky Gonzalez. Move him up another spot here as he has now taken over that 5th spot, possibly? Nope, he is now P number 3 as the 81 of John Ouellette is now into pit road.
81 in as well. He'll pit here, leaving Jason Harrison to lead a lap here. Rick Gonzalez right on by. Gonzalez probably wants that point more than Jason Harrison. And remember, Gonzalez, actually, he's relatively above the cup line, so he should not really need to worry too much, but every point does matter. Oh, something happened with Randall Robinson, the 30. I heard him say, oh no, on mic, so maybe worth noting the check here. It looks like he's okay on surface. But maybe did he see something worth noting? He did have a big battle with 2 lap cars, but I don't see anything worth noting. Yeah. Oh, Cody McCauley, actually, he's lapped the server due to pocket loss. Cody McCauley's out of this race, and that's going to inherit the lead to Randall Robinson. That's what's happened.
Oh, no, that's something that you don't want to see. Your race leader having network connection issues and not going to be able to get the rest of this race in. But look at that. Randall Robinson just unlapped himself on Ricky Gonzalez as David Modispa got a little bit loose coming out of turn number 4 here. Now's the question, when do these leaders pit and not lose too much time to the number 30?
Yeah, now 30 kind of sets the pace. That was about a 4-point-second gap from McCauley to Rand Robinson, so it's a 4-spot difference. Mark Gonzalez pitting this time by, so he'll be one of the drivers in there, along with Thaddeus Marshall. So
Ricky going in
now.
Ricky has went in, but now Jason Harrison is the only car left to take a pit stop here. Is it looked like the 87, and Mark Gonzalez had a little fib on the pit road. Ended up spinning out his car. Not sure.
It's the money stop, and that's, you don't want to make those mistakes.
Let me see if I can pull that up here. Let me get back to Mark Gonzalez.
Not missing anything on battle here. We'll let you pull up that replay there. But Randall Robinson is now going to take the lead. Is now actually, Jason Harrison and Matt Crockett. Actually, Matt Crockett I think is still out, but Randall Robinson is now in. So Crockett I think will inherit the lead here for at least 1 lap. Probably lead 1 lap, and then Randall Robinson will take the second one here as we watch the replay, rewind here. And just a lot of drivers have done this. You saw it with Jim Ott, you saw it with Wade Patterson, among others. Just too deep, too hot.
Mark
missed it.
He missed it and backed up. That's a big no-no. You've seen that happen at the Homestead Miami Speedway race with Cody McCauley.
Stewards kind of let it walk. I just want to say Stewards let it walk in that situation, but it was a big warning to the rest of the field. Don't let it happen again. And I think Stewards will be knocking on his door after this race.
Yeah, that thankfully he wasn't up on track, so I could understand why he would do it. You know, you do have a big advantage down there. You don't have to worry about the cars hitting you. But if somebody were to pit and they misjudged pit road as well, that could
Yeah.
get you into a little bit of trouble as well. But all is good. Mark Gonzalez is back out on track. Randall Robinson is now
Is
your race
re-inherit
leader.
the lead. Yep, Matt 10 car pitted that time by, so Randall Robinson will now inherit the lead. I don't think that's a sentence Randall Robinson thought was going to
As
be in
the
the vocab.
61 just got a little bit loose. Going to see if that.
Zachary Woods, our in-race pastor. See what happened.
Cody McCauley jumped to pits. Sorry, let me find the.
Oh, he was
Zach
coming out of
Woods.
the pit lane, and he pitted on lap 82, so that was his out lap. As a way for the replay to kind of come around here. I think you're pulling that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on his out lap, and I'm going to spoil it a little bit right now. Cold tires, as that was the name of the problem there, as you'll see. Yeah, it just comes on out and spins them. Cold tires around the apron. Not a track usually happens around here as much as other ones, but that apron can be a bit tricky if you don't understand how the tires are, how cold the tires are. As you just lose the back end there, lock it down to make sure he doesn't hit anything, and make sure he missed the cone.
He missed the cone. That is great to see, as you know, blue cone lives do matter. You don't want to hit those blue cones.
I know, but if he went out too quickly, that could be an illegal re-entry and be a black flag because he didn't technically have to stay within the cone until you pass the line. So
yeah, that is
we'll
true.
see if the game throws something at him his way. He hasn't made any lunge down pit lane yet, but it's only lap 82, and we're currently on, check my watch here, 80 some number, 85. So it's been 3 laps. So if he doesn't pit this time by, he's most likely got away with it. So no penalty, no harm, no foul. I think maybe losing all that time was enough of a penalty that the game decided. Yep, he's not coming in, so he dodged a bullet there. And luck will be okay, but gotta be a little bit more careful, Zachary. Gotta be a little bit more careful.
And it looks like the 162 of Cody McCauley has rejoined the race now, as Carl Thompson got a little bit loose in front of the 162, but still not a good night for the 162, as he is now 3 laps down. He was able to get back in, and to lose only 3 laps is pretty impressive, as the number 053 of Jimmy Inslee is having a little bit of connection issues as well.
It's just kind of the base of, you could say, virtual racing. Sometimes your net maybe doesn't have a good day, a storm rolls in, and you have a slight mistake here. As Carl Thompson also back there as well, 3 laps down. I'm trying to see, did something happen to him? Because he was battling in that top pack. I don't remember. Oh, I think he also had a desync issue as well, where he missed a couple laps. Because he goes from 76, he pits, and then he disappears for 3 laps. So I think Cody McCauley and Carl Thompson both running in the top 5 most of this race, and they've had mistakes where just internet's kind of costing dearly, and now they're both 3 laps down. Luckily for Cody McCauley and Carl Thompson, David Moodspaw is also on their lap as well, so they can go up to 14th and no higher. So there's at least that to fight for.
We'll go ahead and bring up, I believe it was Jim Ott, if he's still in here. Not sure. If
No, he left long ago. He had that spin on the first pit stops at lap 41, and he came in on 42 and pulled it behind the wall.
That is Brad Bubel. Those 2 cars are the 2 cars that kind of look
currently
alike.
on track.
Yes. They kind of look alike. You know, one's an Auto Trader, the other one's a Twitter car. So.
Yeah, I was looking at my main screen there. Didn't look at the side monitor, so I was like, "What is he talking about, Jim?" Oh, that's what he's referencing. The battle on track. Yeah, he's currently P3 now. He's really caught these. He was 5th, 6th during the first stint and the second stint, and he's caught these mistakes.
Oh,
quite
Zach!
well, and sometimes
Zach Woods got into the wall there, right in front of our in-race reporter. Got a little bit loose, overcorrected a little bit too much, and smacked the outside wall with that right side of the truck. Got a little bit of damage on that right side, but not enough to hinder his performance. But that was a big save for the number 61, as he did that right in front of the 01 of Brendan Polk.
And like I just said, they are fighting for position, so that is for spot. So Cole wants to get around Woods because that's the difference between 11th and 12th here. And remember, Mark Gonzalez is also on the same lap as well. So big gap, though, from Woods to Gonzalez, though. So highly likely they'll catch him. But there is a lot to fight for at the very least. If something happens to Gonzalez, that's a top 10 right there. And it looks a lot nicer on the stat screen to be on the top 10 than the top 11.
Yeah, Zach is always looking for good race finishes, and he's had them in the bag.
Harrison and Gonzalez also having a pretty good spicy battle shaping up here as well. They're fighting for 4th and 5th as Harrison's got around Gonzalez. They're side by side.
Jason using that inside to his advantage. Ricky being stuck on the outside. I think Ricky just let him go by there. Doesn't want to battle too hard.
Making
as
points.
they are currently fourth and fifth on track. Now they got to start catching up to the number 27 of Brad Boubel. Got 3 cars in front of them to get to Brad Boubel, but that could shape up to be a really good race to the finish.
I'm hearing something weird. Paul Owens is on radio chat right now. I don't see him in the lineup. I think he may be a spotter to
He,
someone, but he's
uh,
broadcasting on all teams.
Paul Owens is the spotter for Ricky Gonzalez.
Weird, because he is on all teams. I was coming up with the number 7, so I was trying to figure out what Paul Owens was.
Yeah.
I guess that answers the question.
I actually asked him before the race started, asked Paul Owens if he was racing tonight. He said no, he was spotting for his good friend Ricky Gonzalez. Oh, the 74, the 053 is blinking.
Oh, he's blaming the lap car. He thinks the lap car was the incident.
The
cause of it.
The 053 had a little bit of network issues there. We're going to take a look back here, get a good view of that, as it looked like the number 053 is having some major issues into this race, blinking a lot, and that just caused him to get into the outside of the number 74.
It doesn't look like he had that much room, though. Obviously, blinking, but you can see damage on the sides. If he hits, feels like something happened, but on replay, they were in different postcodes almost. One was on the very far bottom. Harrison was in the middle. So you do see the left of the 74, though, get some damage. So I guess they did touch, as you can see the tire damage where the Wrangler is. But it just looks like Harrison maybe, again, from what I saw, it just looked like Harrison thought he was somewhere he wasn't, ended up hitting the wall. But again, maybe not seeing the lap car and the blinking kind of affect him dearly. And sometimes I know when you have a car ahead of you and he's blinking, it does throw off your mojo. So, no, I guess not going to blame Harrison, but it just looked like he had more room than what was shown. And it looked like more of a mistake than the lap car's fault. But that's at least from the spectator cameras. It looks like 74 going to possibly try to make a move on Ricky Gonzalez again and try to same song, different dance it, as he'll make a move this time in 3 and 4 and clear him instead of 1 and 2, as he will successfully do it. Almost.
He does it, but moves back down. Wasn't sure if he was clear or not. That's good sportsmanship. I will say that. That is very good sportsmanship by the number 74, Jason Harrison. You know, a lot of people think that they're clear and they'll clear themselves, as we've seen it at USA. Thad tried clearing himself and he wasn't clear and got put in the outside wall. But Jason Harrison thought he was clear. He was a little bit clear, but he moved back down so that way Ricky didn't have to hurry up and readjust his entry into turn number 1. So very good sportsmanship between these two drivers. They're running their hearts out here, keeping it clean and keeping it green, as we would have had only one caution for tonight, but with our race control having a rolling thunderstorm rolling through, so hopefully everything is all good in his area. Joshua Builder, if you are listening, hopefully everything is good and you guys get your power back on as soon as possible.
Yep. Hopefully everything, no major storm incidents happen there, no trees through windows or whatever, and hopefully everything passes without a problem. We are on lap 103 here at races. Basically just flied by without any cautions here. Again, it was the Cody McCauley show for most of the race, but kind of in an instance of what Cody McCauley's season's been outside of Atlanta. He has a good run, and then something happens out of his control or in his control, whether it makes a mistake or internet goes, whatever, and ends up having kind of a poor finish than he likes. So he has only one win the season, is 6 in points. But if everything went his way, he'd be a points leader right now. So McCauley, bit of a dark horse, but he needs to get that monkey off the back and at least finish one of these races in a strong spot, as he'll be finishing P14, maybe 13th. He can actually, 14th. He's the lead. Yeah, he is currently the first car 3 laps down, so he can now go no higher.
Yeah, that's going to be a good position for him. So, but now looking at the number 74, he's right on the back bumper of that 01. He's going to make a move around the 01 of Brendan Polt. That is a lap down car, but look how much of a gap he has put on the number 7. He has pulled away.
I think Gonzalez is just playing it safe. Maybe, again, we know in core, you get 3 bonus points if you do finish with 0x points. So it may be a situation where he knows Harrison hit that wall, and he knows, I got a 0x, and I want to make sure I bring it home. I'll quickly check to see if somehow you check incident points here. Actually, I have to check it after the race.
Entries. If you go to
entries.
It'll be.
You gotta wait till after the race to find that out. So we'll find out at the end of the race. But maybe it's a situation where he knows, hey, I know I'm not faster than Harrison. I want to make sure I get some good points here because the difference between 4th and 5th is only 2 points. So he's like, I'll take 43 points instead of 42 and possibly no more. So kind of risk reward. So we'll see at the end if that is actually what the strategy was. But good showing by Rick Gonzalez, P5, 6 clear of Thaddeus. So as long as he brings it home in the next 10 laps, actually even less than that, he should be good. As now Randall Robinson will start lap 109 in number 30 Joker Machine, and he is now 7 away from winning his 3rd race of the season.
Well, yeah, that this race has gotten a little bit spread out here as Randall Robinson has picked up the pace on the number 81 of John Ouellette, but Randall Robinson has kept his truck clean the whole night, been off the wall, has not touched the wall, has not gotten into any major incidents, especially with traffic. And now he's got the 88 of Mark Gonzalez right behind him as he has put him another lap down. So Mark Gonzalez is now officially 2 laps down. The first truck 2 laps down, and now he's going to try to make his way back up to 1 lap down. But with it being this close, I would just say just run it out, just stay behind the leader.
Only problem is Josh Holmes is also on his lap as well. The gap is 1.3 seconds, so riding is a strategy, but you can't get too complacent because he may end up getting caught by Josh Holmes. So it's a pretty big gap, though, on this track. At the very least, 1.6 and growing, so riding is not horrible, but he's actually going to try to fight the 30 here, and if he ends up taking out the 30, I think there'll be a big fight down the pit stop. So I think 30 may just say, all right, take your lap. It's not worth it. 9.2 clear John, not worth throwing it away for a silly scrap. Decide whether you're 1 lap down or 2 laps down, as I think 88 probably should just kind of concede because he's 2 laps down. Blue flag should probably be in effect here. As when coming this time to go, we'll have 3 to go. So as long as Randall doesn't, this is the last obstacle Randall has in this race, that number 88 machine.
Yeah, and we know for a fact that Mark No-Show Gonzalez is not afraid to race the leaders if he is a lap down. As you know, he's proven it here again. And
he is going 2 down though. That's my only concern.
Yeah,
not
yeah,
1.
yeah. I mean, if you're 1 getting your 1 lap back, fine. But multiple, I just there's so many laps left. 2. No need to potentially wreck yourself or the race leader. At that.
Well, we do got one more possible fight here as Arison has reeled in Brad Buell for the last spot in the podium here. It's 0.4 seconds, but he's got 2 laps to really make something happen. So we'll see how that shakes up here. Can Arison make something happen on the 74 machine as Randall Robinson's about to start the final lap of this race?
Randall Robinson actually has pulled away, and he's got nothing in his mirror but nothing, just track. I mean, the closest car to him is the number 162 of Cody McCauley, but look here as Jason Harrison is on the back bumper of the number 27. He's going to try to make a dive. This is the final lap. What does Jason Harrison do? Does he want P3 or is he fine with sticking it to P number 4? Wrapping that inside line, going to be alongside of him going down the backstretch, going into turn 3 and 4. Going to see how much of a dive he puts on the number 27. And it looks like they're going to be neck and neck all the way through. Jason Harrison not going to be able to get it done.
Yep, good fight there at the end there. Brad will hold on. Jason Harrison probably need 1 more lap to make that happen. Randall Robinson also won this race while we were watching that battle there. John Cornell gets 2nd, so good 2 finishes for those 2. Brad 3rd, Jason Harrison 4th, Rick Gonzalez will be 5th, Thaddeus Marshall will be 6th, Crockett will be 7th, and I think as we wait for the last couple drivers to finish up here, I think everyone's finished, so that is our official final results, bearing any penalties being handled down.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty good and fun race to watch. A lot of battles going on throughout the whole track all night. And Randall Robinson will be our first 3-peat winner of the series. But as we wait now, we'll go ahead and look and see if our top 3 are in the broadcast waiting room. Nobody is in there.
They're not here yet.
So
no one's here yet.
Yeah, nobody is. I will wait for that to happen. Nope.
Yep, you can add them on in if you feel like it.
Oh, let me see here. 3rd was Brad Buell.
Brad Buell, John Cornell, and Randall Robinson was 3, 2, 1, respectively.
I am not seeing Brad Buell in. I will make a top 3 waiting room.
I can invite people. I can't drag anyone, so.
Oh, you can't drag anybody?
I can drag, but well, I'll drag John. He's in General 3 right now, so we'll put him in there.
All right.
But we'll wait to see if anyone else kind of gets. We'll just put him in the waiting room. Let him sit there. Um, yeah, I just see John, and that's the only one in the lobby room. Rand Robinson's in the chats along with him, so we're gonna have to wait for them to kind of get on in.
Well, while we wait on him, I guess we can get going with the race winner tonight.
Well,
Or second place. My bad. I think
yeah,
I said.
second place is the word you're looking for. So I'll take second place
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
and we'll bring him on in.
yeah. That's fine.
So, John, Cornell, this is the booth. Dylan, Kevin, you got a copy?
Hey, how's it going, fellas?
Good to see you. Haven't seen you in, I think, a couple weeks, so good to see you back here again. And I guess we'll start with the questions here. I guess we'll start off with the start of this race here. You kind of ran your own race, and you kind of made your situation. So how did the track feel personally? Did you like that high groove, or were you kind of liking that low groove?
I think it was tight to start, and it got tighter and tighter as the track got hotter and took on more rubber. Really tough place to run. Very big driver's track here. So, you talk about running your own race. You definitely got to do that at a place like this. You got to stick to your pace and keep the tires under you. And I think I did a pretty good job of keeping the tires under me. But as you can see, Randall hedged me out off pit road, and then was just able to drive away. And Cody, unfortunately had some issues, that knocked him out of the contention there. But those guys were driving away. I was happy to run third. Car was really tight. I was really driving it tonight, but felt like I had some good pace and happy with the result.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a good run there. You kind of kept your nose to the grindstone and made it relatively work there. And you kind of just in your own world for the most part, as it just kind of looked like sometimes gaps grain and glows, but you made it work. I guess further on, I'll ask here, kind of speaking on the point of what happened with Coley and that a lot of incidents on pit road here, and you kind of kept it relatively clean on pit road entry and exit. So I guess how did you? It seemed like everyone was struggling on exit. How did you keep the car woe down enough to make sure you got in the pit lane?
Well, I practiced it a lot before we came to this race, and there was this entry I was doing where I kind of entered high and just banked it right down to the yellow line and downshifted before I got to the apron. So I kind of had a method to my madness there. I almost lost it on the first pit. Had the truck sideways pointed towards the infield for a quick second, but gathered it back up. Definitely did not get in there like I needed to, though. Gave Randall the edge, let him pick up a couple seconds on me there, and he was on fire on pit road tonight. That definitely won him the race. So hats off to him.
With only 3 rounds to go for the cut line, currently right now, you are currently in P1, and you are the highest driver without a win so far. So you've been consistent, but you haven't been winning. So I guess my question is, when playoff time does roll around, are you a bit worried that not getting this kind of win here could be a bit of a trouble spot with a win in your own kind of situation? Or do you think your consistency will prevail?
I think I got a lot of consistency, but I think there's a lot of guys here that can win at a lot of different racetracks. So it's every week is tough. There's a lot of guys that are really strong in a 1.5 mile package, and there's a lot of guys that put me to school on the road courses and stuff. So we got a dirt event coming up in a little bit. It might be a good opportunity for me to sneak out a dub. That's going to be a wild card, but definitely going to be working hard trying to get a dub here in the playoffs. Happy to be pointing my way in right now, but definitely a little nervous not having a win yet.
Hey, you're pulling the Ryan Blaney strategy. And honestly, you make it sound like you're terrible on road courses. The only road course ran for the season, you ended up getting a podium. So it's not a situation where you've done that horrible. But I guess now we're at the point of the show where you can thank anything you want, any sponsors, people, friends, pets, family, whatever. The floor is yours.
Well, absolutely. I'd like to, thank my group over at Elite Performance Industries. Setups, coaching, paint schemes, apparel, all kinds of stuff we do over there. I think awesome help to the community. Been very helpful to my game over the last year. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be talking to you guys so often. So definitely check them out. Got to check out 6'2 Designs. If you're looking for a paint scheme, Cody McCauley put some awesome work together. Can even do a little vinyl design and stuff too. So check them out.
All right. Well, thank you, John, and we'll see you next week at Eldora, and hopefully maybe you'll be in the podium booth as well, and maybe you can get your first win.
Let's get dirty there, boys.
I will.
All right.
I will say Elite Performance Industry has helped me in my game as well, as I use their road course setups, and I use some of their oval stuff, and it is a very good community as well. So, John, thank you for all that you do with them as well.
I love to hear it, man. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I will bring in the third place winner, or oh, whoa, third place finisher.
Yeah.
That will be Brad Boubel finishing P number 3, not having a good start to the race, but finishing very well at the end of it. John, this is, or not John, Brad, this is Kevin and Dylan in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
All right, so kind of walk us through excuse me, how your race started and ended there. You had a little bit of a good battle with Jim Ott there in the beginning, and he ended up disconnecting from the race, but it was really all about your getting into pit road and getting out. So, kind of walk us through how your race fared on your side with not having a caution.
Yeah, I mean, I did practice, pitting quite a bit pre-race, and I noticed it was kind of a treacherous pit road to get on. It kind of just comes up on you really fast. Um, and I really was actually pretty excited for this race because I'm usually pretty good at Iowa, but I just had so much trouble rolling the center of the corner once the tires wore. I knew at that point I was just going to be trying to keep the car clean and nail my pit stops as good as possible to gain as much track position as possible. So I tried to short pit maybe a lap before mostly everybody else on each caution, which ended up playing out well for me and was allowing me, gave me a buffer against the rest of the field. And yeah, the pit stops that I had, I felt like I got in super good, got out super good, and I think every single stop I ended up gaining some spots on pit road and kind of giving myself a little buffer to the guys behind me. So that's kind of was my strategy once I realized I was probably not going to be in contention to win, was just keep it clean and nail my pit stops.
Yeah, that is another thing that you did mention, keeping it clean. A lot of people were able to, some others not able to, but there towards the end, you had the run of your life with Jason Harrison, and I think maybe you can attest to it too. If Jason had one more lap, Jason could have possibly gotten around you for the third position, but there was only 115 laps, and you were able to favor that outside. In your opinion, what was the place to be, the outside or the inside?
Yeah, definitely the outside. I mean, the car got so tight for everybody, especially the later you were in the run. I mean, it was really, really hard to pass on the inside unless the guy on the outside either gave it to you or was considerably slower than you. But if you were somewhat equal, there was no way you were going to be able to make a pass on the inside. And I knew Jason was catching me, and I knew he was faster than me on a long run. It's part of the reason I short pitted on that last stop to give myself as much of a buffer as possible. Ended up working out just barely. He had just caught me, but I think I probably could have, fought him off for a lap or two. He was better than me, but I don't think he was that much better that he was gonna easily be able to get by on the inside lane. And if you just kind of hang it on the outside, it's really, really hard to prevent either dooring the outside car or actually making a clean pass. So once he got to me and I knew we had 1 or 2 laps to go, I was pretty sure I was going to be able to hold him off. If there was a few more laps after that, he probably would have been able to work around me. But luckily, it was only 115 laps and not 116.
Yeah, yeah, you did pretty much put your whole race into perspective there. But now next week you go to Eldora. Are you looking forward to getting a little bit dirty at Eldora, or are you just trying to put that behind you and move on to the next race after that?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty excited for dirt. I've run a good bit of dirt on iRacing in the past. I haven't run the truck Eldora combo though, so this will be my first time there. But I feel like I've been pretty competitive in some of the other dirt racing series that I've run here on iRacing. So I'm looking forward to it. It'll be my first time with the Eldora. Truck combo. I think I ran Eldora once or twice in the late model, but I haven't run it. I haven't run it in the truck, so it'll be my first time there. But I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, I can get a good run in.
All right, buddy. Well, before we send you away, this is your time now to send out any shout outs you would like to give, and special thanks to anybody out there watching.
Yeah, no, just appreciate you guys putting on the show, and shout out to Randall. That's another win, another notch in his belt for the season. It's my teammate, so he ran a pretty smooth race, and was able to take home a W. So congrats to him.
All righty. Well, there's our second place finisher of Brad Boubel in
Third.
Third place. Sorry. Yeah, see, I'm all discombobulated tonight, so I guess you can't English. But yeah, that'll be our third place finisher of the number 27. And Kevin, I'll let you take away our race winner tonight as he came in at the end to steal the show away from Cody McCauley.
Yep, we'll drag on in Randall Robinson here. Randall Robinson, this is the booth. Dylan, Kevin, do you have a copy?
Hey, Dylan, Kevin, how's it going?
All right, good to hear from you. Good to hear from you. We do got a lot to talk about that race here, and we'll get on with it right now. I guess we'll start off again with Iowa, as we've kind of asked the previous two drivers. How did you think your truck felt in kind of this situation? Because some like the top, some like the bottom. You were moving, so how did you feel? Did you prefer that really high line, or did you like that middle line, or did you kind of like the low line as a change?
Well, preferably, I would have liked to run a little lower, but after a couple of laps, it was pretty evident to me that we were going to have to be up top, at least in 3 and 4. I mean, 1 and 2, you could run the bottom. That would work pretty well, but it definitely seemed like that third lane right around the dotted line was going to be the fastest at the other end, and especially with these trucks and the fuel configuration the way it is, and then just the nature of the trucks in general. Everything is very aero sensitive, and that was no different here on Iowa. So anytime you got a kind of a tight truck and the tighter setup, it's harder to run the bottom, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did see that top line was very prevalent here today, and kind of confirmed that at the very least. I guess second question we'll have is that when it came to pit stops and pit windows, there were only two, but you really seemed to gain a lot of time on those pit stop pit entries. You were able to jump John Quinnell in the first pit stop window there. So I guess kind of go through what you're saying here. You seem to be really strong going in the corners, and we know with John, pit stops. We know John practiced pit stops quite well. So did you also practice pit lane entry and exit, or is it kind of just coming natural?
Yeah. With this group of guys, I mean, we've seen a lot of green flag pit stops all season, so it's something that I try to put some emphasis on and get a few practice stops in each night prior to the race, and so far it's paid off multiple times, not just tonight. As far as that's the first stop tonight, that was going to be my only shot at getting around John. I think we were very even through and through. It was just a matter of who had the clean air. And up until that first stop, he did. And I think he had a little bit of trouble. Like he kicked it sideways a little bit on entry, which I guess that gave me just enough of an advantage to get out on his door there coming out of the pits. And that was a really fun race. I mean, it's not often you have a good race, I guess, side by side coming off of pit road, especially at Iowa. But he always races with a lot of respect, and we were able to make it work and get off onto the backstretch and have a good run there for a couple of laps. But it's just kind of Iowa. The high side, I think, is going to pay off more often than not, and I was fortunate to be in the preferred line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did see that, and that battle was quite fun to watch. You came in the pit lane, and you made pit strategies work, as we saw at Homestead. You made the undercut work quite well, so you do love to see it. I guess now we'll address the elephant in the room with Cody McCauley. You heard your reaction in race chat, and you were kind of the one that said the whoa. So I guess what was going through your head when McCauley ended up having that desync issue and you inherited the lead?
I mean, prior to that happening, my first goal was to get around John, and I was able to do so off that first pit cycle, and then you just you want to be there. If something happens, it's always going to be in your best favor to be the beneficiary. But that's not what anyone wants to have happen. I definitely don't want to have that happen to anyone, to get disconnected, especially from P1. So, I'm glad I was there, but at the same time, it really sucks for Cody.
Yeah.
And, would definitely prefer him to stay in the server, stay in the race, and get the win that he probably deserved there.
Yeah, he really does have some poor runs the past couple rounds. Some to his own luck, others to just the luck of the gods. So hopefully you can kind of get that cleared out. Last question. You do have 3 wins so far this season. First try to get 3 wins. You don't really need to worry too much about playoffs, as you probably are pretty relatively good going to the playoffs with 3 wins. But I do bring up the point, though, is Eldora's next week. How do you feel with the dirt? And do you think you can handle the tricky conditions at Eldora?
Yeah, we'll see. I've never been on Eldora here on iRacing, and the only other dirt race I've run with I guess, you know, a concrete or asphalt oval car was the old Cup car, the Gen 6 Cup car at Bristol last year. So ran pretty well there. Liked it for I guess as much as you can. So I am. I think I say this every week, but cautiously optimistic heading into next week.
Fair enough. And I guess now we're at the portion of the interview where you can thank anything you want, sponsors, family, friends, pets, whatever. The floor is yours.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe you guys saw last week at Daytona. I never really had any great run last week, but last week Josh and Joker Graphics came on board and decided to spoof up the white and red scheme or plain white scheme that I'd been running. So couldn't get a good finish for them last week, but was able to be up front this week and get Joker Graphics in victory lane. So really cool to be able to make that happen 2 races in. And as always, Brad, my BR2 teammate, he had a good run in P3 tonight, and always appreciate the time that he puts into this with me.
Mm-hmm. Well, we won't take up too much of your time here. Glad the bright sponsors get their first win on your car as the main sponsor at the very least. And so yeah, go enjoy your evening. Hopefully next week we'll see you at Eldora.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right.
So that.
Well,
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say that takes care of tonight's race and our top 3. So before we end this and get to talking about how we fared on our side up in the booth, I'll go ahead and give you the rundown here. As P number 1 will be Randall Robinson picking up his 3rd win of the season, and second is John Ouellette in the number 81, third Brad Bubel in the 27, Jason Harrison coming home P number 4 in the 74, Ricky Gonzalez with a strong top 5. Thaddeus Marshall in 6th. Matt Crockett, the Rocket, in 7th. Wes Fuller in 8th. Mark Gonzalez in 9th. Josh Holmes in 10th. Zach Woods in 11th. Brendan Polt in 12th. Jimmy Ensley in 13th. Cody McCauley in 14th. Carl Thompson in 15th. David Monispaw in 16th. Ryan J. Munoz in 17th. Eric Andrews in 18th, Jim Ott in 19th, Wade Patterson 20th, Mark Thomas in 21st, and Matt George in 22nd. So that'll round out our 22 car field. As I will say next week at Eldora with me, since I did run Eldora in the 87s, for everybody that has not ran Eldora in the truck series, it's gonna be slick. It's gonna start off really good, but by the end of the race, it will be terrible. I was sawing the wheel like no other. I was probably doing 180 degrees to the right just to get it to stay straight going through the corner. So definitely going to have to keep that in mind. And yeah, tonight, Kevin, I don't know about you, but it was very good racing. A lot of 2-3 wide battles. I didn't see any 4 wide out there. We did have that little slip up there in the beginning with Wade Patterson getting in the back of the number 9 of Eric Andrews. But after that, everybody kind of calmed down and chose to run their race how they pleased. And yeah, it's just not really big moves up on the boards anywhere. But, with Randall Robinson coming home with his 3rd victory of the season. So, any takeaways that you noted throughout this whole race?
The only thing that kind of stinks is Race Joel ended having that mistake along with power outage along with Cody McCauley and 66 machine and Carl Thompson both having incidents issues as well with serve issues, and it kind of sucks. And I think that's the only real blight of this whole race, but because you probably would have had a caution early, but after that they ran it clean and they kept it good. So you do love to see, like I said, sometimes you love to see races where there's no cautions. And we saw it with Atlanta, and it's just kind of old school NASCAR in a way where it's just, if you have the fast truck and you get the good start, you make it work instead of having a stage break. But yeah, I think it was quite fun, quite enjoyable. Maybe not the best race of the season, but definitely up there. And we'll see what happens next week at Eldora.
All right. Well, with that being said, go ahead and take care and brush your hair.